I've been talking quite a bit with the other producers about the ways that the show is going to be the same and different from the book. I guess, what do you think for fans who haven't had a chance to read the books yet, what do you think is really going to be the hook to bring them into this world? What are they going to find here that they're really going to identify with?
Well, I think what they're going to identify with is the truckers in space. I'm sure the other guys have talked about this to some extent, but you always see space shows about Captain Kirk or Picard. It's like the guys who run the boats and the generals and everybody at the upper echelons of everything. We're about the dudes who in the bowels of the ship, kind of running the cranks and throwing the levers. Mark and Hawk always talked about Harry Dean Stanton and Yafet Koto in the original Alien movie. It's like, that's who this show is about. It is about these poor schmucks who are truckers. They are, you meet them on the Canterbury. They're just dudes who go out and they farm ice. They bring it back. They're long haul truckers, and they get involved in something much, much, much bigger. We have Sheree's character, Avasarala. She's a highly placed official in the Earth government. So we do go to that level. But the people who are, who carry a lot of the story, Thomas Jane's character, Detective Miller, he's kind of like a private security rent-a-cop. And these are about the little people, really regular folks who find themselves getting caught up in big, big events. And so the perspective of the show is not an elite team of people who go across the universe. It's not that at all. And so the idea was to make it much more relatable, much more human, much more average Joe in its conception. Because, when people are faced with adversity and people are faced with crisis, these are the moments that reveal all of us. And that's really what you're seeing in this show, is regular people who are being asked to do extraordinary and very large things, and how they react to those things and what it reveals about them as they go.
Was there anything that was particularly tough about bringing this adaptation to the screen?
Every show is hard. It just is. There are different things about the shows that are hard. I mean, we have technical challenges on the show because we're trying to render space and zero gravity and thrust gravity and different kinds of gravity and just do battles more realistically. There's a whole lot of physics and mathematics in the show that we try to deal with that most people don't even care about usually, because they're most space shows typically are like versions of old World War II movies. Is that the ships fly that way, the battles are the same, the nomenclature, the iconography, the way they physically shoot them is the same. So we're trying to actually take a crack at showing what it kind of might be like for people to live out in space on ships that require to be under thrust for you to have weight. And so there's a number of technical challenges. Dramatically, it's always challenging to do an adaptation. It's great when you have terrific source material. Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham, who are collectively James S.A. Corey, they've written 5 books at this point of the Expanse series. They have a beautifully thought through, densely realized world, and a great big story. And so, in that sense, it's kind of a luxury. It's that and they've written like a half dozen supporting novellas that are character studies of it. They're incredibly prolific, and they're on our staff. They've written an episode. It's like So we have kind of an embarrassment of riches on that front, and it's a very big story to get your head around. And I guess the challenge on the adaptation side is how do you let it come through in a way that doesn't overwhelm you and knock you out of it just with the sheer weight of detail that's in it, that allows you to engage in the characters and the storylines and really pull you into a world and a time and places that you haven't seen before.
What about the music? How is that going? Who do you have for your composer?
Our composer is Clinton Shorter. He scored District 9. He's been terrific. We have one of the things that we've tried to realize in the world is, in the Expanse, the people who get out into space are not, just Americans. They are Indians and Chinese and Russians, and it is a polyglot world that comes out. And so we've tried to play with that musically. So when you go out into the belt, the themes out there have instrumentations and arrangements that are more Eastern, that have lots of different influences in them. And so we're trying to actually bring that element through musically as well. I think we've done some really beautiful work.